Picture this. A teenager with a bold idea, standing on a small college stage, pitching the dream of a conservative youth movement. Fast forward just over a decade, and that same kid, Charlie Kirk, has built a multimillion-dollar empire, complete with luxury homes, six-figure speaking fees, and a personal brand powerful enough to shake up politics. But here's the question nobody seems to answer completely. How did he do it? Did his nonprofit salary alone fund those sprawling estates? Was it his podcasting network? Book deals? Or did Charlie quietly make investments most of us don't even know about? Today, we're opening the vault on Charlie Kirk's net worth in 2025. We'll unpack his real estate, salary, investments, and the surprising lifestyle choices behind them. And trust me, you'll want to stick around, because at the very end we'll reveal what insiders call the smartest move he ever made, and it's not what you'd expect. Before we dive in, hit that like button if you enjoy seeing how influential figures build their fortunes, and drop a comment predicting Charlie's net worth right now. Let's see who gets it right. Alright, let's talk about the big number everyone wants to know. Charlie Kirk's net worth in 2025. Multiple financial analysts and media reports put it in the ballpark of $12 million, yes, 8 figures. That's an impressive jump for someone who started out speaking at college events with little more than a dream and a borrowed microphone. Where does that wealth come from? It isn't just one paycheck. Think of it as a portfolio of influence. First, there's his leadership at Turning Point USA, the conservative nonprofit he co-founded. While nonprofits can't pay sky-high salaries like Fortune 500 companies, his role as CEO still brings in a strong income. Then add speaking engagements, both live and virtual, where fees can run from $25,000 up to 6 figures for headline events. He's also earned royalties from best-selling books, revenue from a growing podcast network, and partnerships with major media outlets. Blend all that together and you get the core of that $12 million estimate. But before you imagine a vault full of cash, remember, most of that figure isn't liquid. It's tied up in assets, real estate, intellectual property, and business equity. And some parts of his finances aren't public, so experts always stress these numbers are educated estimates, not exact bank statements. Still, when you stack his ventures side by side, the picture is clear. Charlie Kirk has transformed early activism into an empire that generates millions every year. And the salary you just heard about? That's only one slice. In a moment, we'll dig into his paycheck and benefits, and you might be surprised how high they climbed. So now that we've sized up Charlie Kirk's overall fortune, let's zoom in on the part that gets the most attention, his salary and earnings. Public filings from Turning Point USA give us an inside look at what he was paid as the organization grew. Back in 2016, Charlie reportedly earned around $27,000. Basically a starter salary for someone running a young nonprofit. Fast forward a few short years. By 2021, his compensation had climbed past $400,000. And in the most recent reports available from 2024, his package totaled just under $390,000. About $285,000 base salary, nearly $100,000 in benefits, plus a few thousand in other perks. That puts him in the upper tier of nonprofit executives, and remember, that's before you even add speaking engagements or book royalties. Those speeches, by the way, can be incredibly lucrative. For major conferences or high-profile campus events, fees are estimated anywhere between $25,000 and $100,000 a pop, depending on the audience and format. Stack enough of those throughout the year and you're looking at another healthy 6-figure stream. Add in podcast advertising revenue, guest appearances, and occasional consulting, and his annual earnings easily top $500,000 in strong years. But here's where it gets really interesting. Salary and speaking fees may power the engine, but they aren't what multiply his fortune the fastest. For that, you have to see how he positioned himself in real estate and other assets. We'll open that door next, and one of his properties is worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Alright, we've covered the numbers on paper, but where does Charlie Kirk actually live out that wealth? His real estate portfolio may not be sprawling, but it's packed with high-end touches. One of the crown jewels was a Spanish-style estate in Scottsdale, Arizona, reportedly purchased for around $4.7 million. Picture arched stone doorways, polished hardwood floors, a resort-worthy pool, and desert sunsets spilling across the patio. On the opposite end of the vibe scale, he also owned a sleek oceanfront condo on Florida's Gulf Coast, estimated at just under $900,000. Think minimalist interiors, turquoise water views, and private beach access steps from the living room. Beyond those, sources mention additional apartments and smaller homes, nothing over the top, but positioned in markets with strong upside. It's a smart balance. A handful of properties that provide comfort, prestige, and appreciation without locking up too much capital. And it isn't just about where he sleeps. Kirk's lifestyle leans toward subtle luxury rather than tabloid excess. He travels often for speeches and media, hosts high-profile events, and keeps a wardrobe tailored for TV and podcast appearances. He's not flashing exotic cars or mega yachts, at least not publicly, but his settings always hint at a life a notch above the average commentator. Still, there's one thing about his real estate that's especially strategic. A move he made recently that reshaped the portfolio and unlocked serious returns. That twist is next. So, what has Charlie Kirk been doing lately with all those assets? In the last year, he made a play that caught a lot of watchers off guard. He reportedly sold that Scottsdale estate, the Spanish-style showpiece we just toured, right as property values in that neighborhood were peaking. That timing alone may have banked him a tidy return, freeing up cash for new opportunities. Where did that money go? Sources close to his circle point to two focus areas: expanding media operations and strengthening his personal brand. The Charlie Kirk Show's audience keeps growing, and investing back into better studios, distribution deals, and marketing ensures those revenue streams stay strong. He's also known to put resources into live event infrastructure, staging, production teams, high-quality streaming. So every appearance builds both influence and income. Think of it as investing in a megaphone that keeps paying dividends. Beyond media, Kirk appears to keep a portion of his wealth in conservative, stable holdings, index funds, possibly some private equity-style partnerships. Nothing too wild or high risk, at least from what's visible. That low-drama approach fits the profile of someone who wants staying power rather than one lucky break. But the real intrigue. There's one wealth-preserving decision he made that insiders say may be his smartest move yet, and it's not tied to selling property or booking more speeches. We'll unpack that right at the end. Every big fortune has its shadows, and Charlie Kirk's is no exception, because a large piece of his income flows through a nonprofit, Turning Point USA. Public filings show part of the picture, but not all. Analysts often point out that executive benefits, things like travel budgets, housing stipends, and event perks, can be hard to pin down from tax forms alone. There's also the question of market risk. Real estate can lose value if the economy slows, and audience-driven revenue, like podcasts or speaking, can dip if trends shift or a platform changes its rules. Even best-selling authors see royalties fluctuate from year to year. Some journalists have raised eyebrows at how fast Fuse's revenue has grown, asking whether its spending on executive pay and perks matches donor expectations. Nothing illegal has been proven, but scrutiny is part of the territory when politics, philanthropy, and business overlap. And then there's the simple truth. We don't have a full inventory of every asset, investment, or liability in his name. Some holdings are private, and any private partnerships or trusts aren't on public record. All of that means every estimate, including the $12 million figure, carries a margin of error. Still, by triangulating filings, property sales, and media income, experts get a solid ballpark. So while Charlie Kirk's financial story looks strong, it's not without potential bumps. And one more thing, the smartest decision we teased earlier, it actually ties into how he manages these very risks. We'll get to that in the finale. Okay. Before we get to that smartest move we promised, here's your chance to be part of the conversation. If you've made it this far, you clearly love getting the inside scoop on how public figures grow and protect their wealth. So let's turn this into a two-way street. Backhand index pointing right, tap that like button. It tells the algorithm you want more deep dives like this. Backhand index pointing right, leave us a comment below and tell us, which part of Charlie's money story surprised you the most so far? Was it the salary jump, the property sale, or how much he reinvests in his own media empire? Backhand index pointing right, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll know the moment we publish more breakdowns of fascinating money stories. We read every comment, and we love featuring smart takes in future videos, so your thoughts might show up next time. Plus, sticking with us means you won't miss the big reveal about Charlie Kirk's single most strategic wealth move. It's coming up in just a moment, and it's something that applies far beyond politics or media.